VIP.com to see what that's all about. But our members participated in an accountability challenge. We have one every spring, we have one every fall, and the people are grouped into teams, and the team who won was promised as a reward that they could come into the larger community and present a webinar of their choice, and they're encouraged to sort of do a pitch at the end, right? Because we're all learning to be better online entrepreneurs. So this is a win-win-win, right? Like it's a win for our community because you're getting all this fabulous free training, and it's a win for our participants who are presenting because they're getting extra practice. And in some cases, people are presenting their sort of like roadshow, right? Like once they create this presentation, they could take it into other Facebook groups, and they'll always have something that they could present to either sell something or help grow their audience or whatever. And yeah, so with that, I'm excited to introduce our first person who is presenting it. And this is Dr. Annika Sörensen. She's coming to us all the way from Sweden. And so I'm very excited to introduce you to Annika. She was on Team Go For It. So congratulations to Team Go For It. And Annika is going to be, I should say Dr. Annika Sörensen is going to be talking with us today about going from chaos to calm. And man, if there was ever a time, Annika, to go from chaos to calm, I think it's now, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I am going to, should we just go straight to your presentation deck?
Yeah, more or less. I just want to say thank you for having me. It's really a treat to be able to do this. Well, and, as you say, it's good practice, and I was so happy to be in the right team. We had such a great group.
You did have it. You had a great group. Oh, and on that note, let me just quickly, and this is going to block you out for a minute, Annika, but I want everybody to see the upcoming topics. This really is, you can see why we called it Potpourri, because we've got all sorts of topics. June 18th, Barbara Trapp is going to be presenting about Zen Your Business from the Inside Out. She's an organizational expert. And then Anne Lundberg is going to be talking about what would it mean for you to clone your business. And Christina Mosteller is going to be talking about teacher tools that entrepreneurs didn't know they could use. And Anne Regnes she's coming from Norway and is going to be talking about getting more done in less time. And then Belinda Wasser is going to be talking about an innovative approach to pricing your services. And then we've also got, Debbie's not on there, but Debbie, I think, is going to be talking to us about podcasting. So super excited about this. And before we waste any more time, let me go ahead and give you the microphone and unblock your sweet face. I'm sorry that I did that to you. There we go.
No problem. I can tell you that Anne Ljungberg is also Swedish.
Oh, yeah, right. She is. But she's like half the time she's on some boat in Georgia.
Yeah, she's all over the place, but she's in Sweden.
Yeah,
right
and
now, I think.
You said her name. How did you say her last name?
Ljungberg.
Oh, wow. I'm so far off, right? Lundberg. I don't know. I'm not ever going to be able to say what you just said, but she knows who I mean. Okay. All right. Okay. So what you'll do is
share
your screen, and then I'll go like, yeah, it should just work. What's happening on your end?
It's a lot of.
So you're getting the infinity window probably.
It says share screen. I can't share it.
Oh, you know what? I really didn't. While you're figuring that out, I'm going to give you your proper bio because I didn't do that.
It's. I can't figure it out because there's no more places to.
What happens when you click share screen?
It says tips, and I say share screen, and then it says share your screen. Do you want to share? And I say the whole window and share the sound, and it doesn't pop up so that I can
Here,
do it.
let's do this. Let me take you off. And let me, Okay.
It doesn't let me.
Are you in Chrome?
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a problem. I'm trying to
I'm
think.
not supposed to be in Chrome?
No, you are. No, you are. I just don't know why you're not able to share your screen. Hold on. Let me contact real quick.
I have it. I have it. Now I'm sharing. Do you hear me?
Yes, there you go. Okay, hold on. So now
I am sharing.
Yep. So go like this and then like this. Yay. So it's just so you know, it's just your screen. It's just your PowerPoint on the screen. And let me quickly give you I robbed you of a proper introduction. So let me do this real quick. Okay.
Yeah, but I will introduce myself so you don't have to.
Do you have a thing that talks about your family medicine and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
All right.
That will work.
All right.
No
Take it
problem.
away. Thanks for your patience, everybody.
Thank you. So, and thank you for having me here. And we are going to do this front row special and take your seat. And today we're going to go from chaos to calm. And I want to show you how to stay calm when stress knocks on your door, because it's going to do that all your life, because that's how life works. And I'm going to help you find methods so that it's not knocking all the time. I'm going to show my three-step model so that you can reach your goals and get things done and have energy to get on doing it. And I promised Jen in this webinar, I'm going to talk about what stress is really. I'm going to give you 3 natural quick fixes for daily stress control. And I'm going to show you my 3-step model that I talked about. I'm going to show you how you get energy to work with that model, and then how to create less stress long term in the end. And my goal is that this is going to turn the chaos of your day into a calm, structured, productive day, and that you can see that you already have all these tools that I'm going to talk about, and that you understand why you have to take consistent small steps to make the big changes. And when you are at that goal, you will have a less stress, and you're going to be more successful that way. So who am I? Here it is, the presentation of me. I'm a medical doctor in Sweden. For over 30 years, I've been working in family medicine, meeting patients all year round for many, many years. Lately, I've been more focusing on stress management and workplace health. I am the author of 2 books, Take Stress from Chaos to Calm and My De-Stress Diary. I'm a speaker for organizations and corporate events, and I am a mentor to leaders, a coach and mentor. And I also have done 2 TEDx talks, one in PSU Berks and one in San Juan Island. One was called Unlock Your Inborn Power to Beat Stress, and the other one was Beating Stress is Easier Than You Think. And you can find them on YouTube, TEDx YouTube channel if you search for my name. And both are about all natural things that I, at an early state of my career, found out after a disaster happening in my life. You see, because I'm a doctor, I am not immune to disasters. Nobody is. Just as I was taking my medical exam, I lost my brother, who had a severe mental illness, and my firstborn daughter, who was diagnosed with a severe genetic disease within 1 week. He was 30 years old and she was only 10 years old. And I totally fell into a black hole and just wanted to join them in the darkness and not get up again. But with help from friends and family, I managed to climb up high enough to see the light again. And then I realized the importance of taking care of your basic needs to get the energy to climb all the way up. And in the upcoming years, I gave birth to 3 more girls who today are my sweethearts, all grown up and healthy. You see them on the photo. And I also am blessed with the sweetest little granddaughter. She is 2.5 now. This picture is a year old. Anyway, life went on, and with 3 kids and full-time job as a doctor, it was hectic life. And about 10 years ago, I was really close to burnout, almost touching that wall, and I definitely didn't want to hit it. I've seen too much of in my patients hitting the wall, and I did not want to do that. And reflecting back to those dark days many years ago, I remembered how important it was to take good care of yourself. And I made a turn in my life. I quit my ordinary work as a doctor. I still work as a doctor. I'm going to work on next Monday, helping out in the summer in the healthcare clinic, because in Corona times, there's a big need for doctors and other healthcare personnel. And anyway, I became a business leader 10 years ago, and building the business to help business people to not become patients. And that's where I am today, helping people. And so why do I do it? Yes, like I said, I saw a connection between stress and illness in my patients. And I wanted to raise awareness of this connection. And you know, today's stress-related disease is more than 50% of long-term sick leave. So it's really a very big problem. And in Corona times, I think it will raise even further. I'm sure you agree with that. And I also did it because I wanted to save my life. And if I could save my life and do this, anybody could do it. So my promise to you for this short time here is a step-by-step strategy on how you can create the calmer workday built on small practical steps. And as I promised Jen, we start with what is stress. Stress is not all the things you have on your to-do list. It's a biological process. And you already have all the tools you need to tackle this, and that's what I'm going to go through. But first I'm going to show you what stress is from a biological sense. You have a graph here. You have stress hormones on the y-axis. We are mostly talking about epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol, and you don't really have to remember those, but those are the 3 big ones. There are tons of other things changing too. And then you have the baseline, and it says N, that stands for normal level of stress hormones, because it's not 0. If you have 0 stress hormones, do you know what happens? You're dead, because we have to have those stress hormones to be able to stay alive. And then you see those little undulating graph there, and that's normal life. Stress hormones go up and down just a little in your everyday life when you feel well. But when you don't have time to come back to your normal level every now and then, it starts getting higher and higher, and you don't want that. You want to be back to the normal level every now and then. And if it goes on, you maybe end up on a higher level. And then you start feeling shaky, you get anxiety, memory loss, stomachache. I'm sure you all recognize some of these things because we all had them once in a while. And if you have that and you have the time to go down to the normal level, to just have a break, then that's normal. It's no harm done. That's just how life is. But if you continue and you don't get a rest, then bam, you have this feeling of overwhelm, and it's a lower self-esteem, and you feel incapable, and it's so much harder to get back again. And I'm sure that most of you at least touch that base one or two times in life, because that is part of our life. But we don't want to stay up there, because if we stay too long up on that higher level of stress hormones, we are at risk for getting these other body diseases like diabetes, heart disease, stroke, obesity, hypertension, and depression for the brain then. And you don't want to be there. And the longer the time, the worse scenario is possible, or well, you don't want to be there. So how do you do to get what you need to do to get the stress hormones down? You need rejuvenation. You need to get back to the normal level of stress hormones. And in the beginning, on the left side of this graph, you see maybe you need 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days a week to get back to normal. And the further you go to the right, you maybe need 5 weeks, 5 months, or maybe even 5 years. And you don't want to be there. That's not a healthy, good life. You want to go to the left side and down to the normal level. That's where you are heading. And this is the key thing with stress management, rejuvenation. You have to have your rest every now and then. There is one more way that science showed some years ago that you can lower your stress hormones, at least for a moment or for a while, and that is by acceptance. And I'm not talking about accepting that you are on this high level all the time, because that's not what I want, but accepting in the moment. If you have something you're doing and you don't like it, and you say to yourself, it's okay, I'm gonna get through it, it's taking more time than I want, but it's okay, then your stress hormone levels will decrease. But if you keep saying, I hate this, I don't want to do it, I can't do it, then you are not going to be able to do it, and your stress hormones are staying at the high level or even going further up. So acceptance for a while is a good way to tackle your stress. And then you do the changes, and that's what we're going to come to soon. So rejuvenation and acceptance, 2 hard words, at least the first one. So when I looked back to what stress management is, now that we know what the stress looks like from a biological sense, when I looked at that, I saw that we would need 2 different set of stress management skills. And the first one is stress in the moment, when it's creeping up on you and you get another, somebody comes in and say, you do this too, and you just feel that you're getting shaky and all that. And at that time, a lot of you need a quick fix now. And some people do take a drink, or they eat chocolate, or they try to find this app that they bought to relieve the stress. And now I can't find the app, and I'm getting more and more stressed, or I've had this gadget that I was going to squeeze, and where is my gadget? I'm so stressed out, I can't find my gadget. So I have figured out that we have here and now quick fixes coming along with the body that we have, and these are the ones. I'm sure you recognize them. The breathing, taking a deep breath through your nose, holding your breath for a second, and then breathe out through your mouth. And at the same time, you let your shoulders down. You do that for a few times, and your brain gets a rest, and you can think better. Or you can move your body, because there is a connection between muscle movement and brain activity. When you get stressed, your brain connections stop working. And if you start moving your body, they're going to start working again. And I'm just talking about standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, or raise your hands, or shake your body, or walk around your desk, or maybe out in the corridor, or maybe even around the block if you have the time. Just small things. Or you can do the mini meditation. And the mini meditation for me is closing your eyes and you say a nice word, and I choose to say release, because that's how I was taught. You have other words, I'm sure, or you can use release. You just say release, 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 and you keep doing that for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Maybe you need 10 minutes. And after you've done this, your body will feel, or your brain will have had that rest, and you will be able to think better again and do the task that you wanted, that you were going to do, and it will work so much better. But it's not going to help you to be stress-free in the long run. It's just for the moment, here and now. So if you want to do something for the long run, that's when I'm talking about my 3 steps for long-term calm. And I'm talking about brain, body, and base. I'll go through it so you see. You need to work with all 3 to get the big changes, but you will start seeing results in your life in the moment you start taking small steps that I'm suggesting here. And we start with the brain. This is where you have to start. This is, in a way, the most important step, because the first step to making a change is actually wanting to make a change. It's all about your mindset. We are wired to do the same thing over and over, because that costs less energy than learning new, and we are wired to save energy. That's just the way it is. This is all part of our heritage from the savannah 200,000 years ago. We live in a technical world with versions 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0, but we are biologically still version 1.0. And that's not going to change in our lifetime. So we better adjust. So this is what we need to work against when we make changes. And you have to do this for yourself, because no one else can make changes in your life. You got to do it yourself, or else everything will run on as usual in the hamster wheel. So this means you need to rewire, leave old patterns and make new ones. And you have to use your willpower to get out of your comfort zone. That's how it is. So you start with looking at the full picture of your life. What do you see? Are you happy with everything in your life, or do you long for something else? And when you see how it is, you actually need to accept where you are now before you can change, because you need to know your starting point to be able to point out a direction to somewhere else. And when that is clear, you also need to accept that you will have to work hard to make these changes. But they can be done in small steps as long as they are consistent. You hear me say the word consistent over and over. You have to do it small steps over and over. Because to rewire your brain to a different route takes accepting a new way of working and living. It will be different, and you need to adjust to what comes up. You will also need to drive away from the guilty feeling when you're doing something for you. I'm sure all of you think that I can't do things for me, I'm not worth it, or whatever it is, but that is okay. This is about your life. You need to do something for you. If you get a good life that you like, it will benefit and rub off on your surroundings too. I'm just telling. And that means it's time to claim back your power and reinvigorating your confidence. So you need to step away from the comfort of chaos. That's been your everyday for so long. You feel comfortable there despite the chaos because you are used to it. That's the world, you know it, right? All of you, I'm sure, can feel how that is because you have this chaotic normal life. So you know it, you recognize it, and you're familiar with the feeling of chaos, and it feels scary to get another scenario, even if it's a better, calmer one, because that's outside your comfort zone, and we so much need to want to be inside our comfort zone. So to be able to get a good look at your chaos, it can be a good thing to look down at your life from above. And I do this with my clients, taking a virtual helicopter view. That means you look down at your life as if you're standing outside it, looking at what goes on in there. I am not talking about judging, just observing. You see how you run around, not getting anything done, being constantly interrupted, doing other people's work because it gets done faster that way. I bet you are guilty on that one, all of you. Only you will know what you can find in your life. And when you see from the outside what's going on in there, it's so much easier to see what you need to change to get the situation you want to be in, being successful at work with energy. And once your brain is in alignment and you know where you're headed, you must figure out how to get the energy to get all these changes done. Which brings me to the next step. We've done the brain, now we go to the body. The body is about getting the energy you need to do the changes you now long for, because you set the changes you want. When you are stressed out, you have no energy because that's used up to manage the chaos that you're having. And you can't buy energy and you can't get it from somebody else, so you just have to generate it by healthy living. And I'm talking about sleep. It's about why getting a good night's sleep helps you stay calm. I'm talking about eat, how to fuel the body for health and energy, and also about exercise, why some physical exercise is necessary and how it connects to your mental health. And these things are even more important now in the corona times, when we have no normal life and all the routines that we have are gone. And before I get into the details of the body, I want to introduce you to a built-in help system that our bodies have. And that's also what I'm talking about with the corona. Our body functions like sleeping and eating are set on an internal clock. And our bodies want and crave food and sleep at the same hour day after day. And I mean every day, even on weekends, because the brain does not know what day it is. It has to work every day. And putting our bodies into a good rhythm and feeding it when it's expecting food and sleeping when it's expecting sleep, that makes it happy. And who doesn't want to have a happy body? These routines are more well known as our circadian rhythm, a finding that was giving the Nobel Prize in medicine even. And this system have a huge impact on our well-being, both physically and mentally. And when the clocks of our brain are disturbed, then we get ill. We get out of rhythm. And that's what we are now in Corona times. There's a whole lot you can improve about your sleep. And start with having a solid nighttime routine and set a bedtime every single night, even weekends. And I know it sounds boring, but at heart, that's what your body wants. Of course, you can cheat when you're going to a party if you are in good shape. But if you are really overwhelmed, this routine might be the thing that really helps you from getting really ill. It's so important. And then remove all electronic devices from the bedroom and because they use a blue light that's suppressing your sleep hormone melatonin. And then you're going to sleep less well. And also clear your bedroom from everything that's not related to sleep, because sleeping room is for sleep, not for work. And that includes your work papers out of the room. They claim your attention subconsciously by just being in the room. You may have a small piece of paper and a pen or pencil, but by your night desk. And then you can write down if you get any golden thoughts in the middle of the night. You just write it down and you don't have to get up and start working, because it will wait for you in the morning. That's sleep. Food and eating is not just about getting energy, it's also about feelings. We eat to celebrate and we eat for comfort when we're not feeling well. It's also social part in eating. You eat alone or you eat with friends and family or other people. And that makes it complicated. But there are a few rules that are universal. Eat regularly every single day. I have a simple 3-2-1 rule that I use or teach people. Eat 3 main meals, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Eat 2 small snacks, 1 in the morning hours and 1 in the afternoon hours, to keep the sugar craving away. And only take 1 serving per meal using a standard size plate to avoid unwanted weight gain. Having set times for food intakes helps the brain to get constant energy, which will help you do a good job all day long. And that's what you want, right? When you cheat on eating, you will mess with your insulin levels and get sugars ups and downs in your system, making you feel not well and your ability to concentrate falls. So that's why it's so important to always eat at a regular basis. And also make good choices when choosing what to fuel your body with. Lots of fruits and greens gives you the vitamins, and the vitamins help your immune system to help you stay healthy. And yes, it is okay to have occasional treats now and then, like the hamburger on the image, but not every day. So then we have the last one, exercise. Moving your body is actually good for so many things in your body, blood pressure and cholesterol levels and all different kinds of things. And you may think it takes your energy if you do exercise, and of course you get tired if you work out hard. But you get even more tired in your muscles and they start to ache if you don't use them at all, because they are built for movement. Unused muscles become stiff. And I'm sure you all experienced that too. When you've been ill or lazy for a few days, then it's harder to get going again. And you don't need to be training for a marathon. Just daily walks will do fine. And if you're not used to it, start with 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And the goal is 30 minutes brisk walk. And then maybe a workout a couple of times to keep your muscles strong. And don't forget all the free exercise you can get by taking the stairs instead of the elevator or escalator, or doing cleaning and gardening, because it all counts. And when we work out and run and when we walk, we naturally get rid of all the stress-inducing hormones in our system. They kind of eaten up. And that's why when you've been for a short walk outside, you feel refreshed. It's like a mini reboot for your brain. So try it. Okay. How are you caring for your body? Time to reflect. It's easy to get mixed up with this. If you're busy everyday life as a leader or entrepreneur, you believe there is no time to sleep or eat, or definitely no time for exercise. You look at it as a waste of time. But I assure you, there is time for all of it. Doing these things will generate energy, and with more energy, you will be more effective. Make less faults, and you will be ending up with more done in less time. And that brings me to step number 3, the base. The base is the platform you're standing on in your life right now. It's all the things that are outside your body, like your job, your friends, your family, and what you do in your free time and more. And don't get me wrong, this is still internal work inside your brain, managing and dealing with what you do on the outside. This is the area where most people see their stress, the long to-do list, the musts, the have-to-dos, but also things like money issues, difficult employees or co-workers, lack of time, and that list can be really long. It takes a lot of willpower to make changes in your life, and you have limited amount of that. That's why you first need to set your mind on doing the changes, then generate the energy for the actual work before you can get clarity on what you need to change. And it is when you have your mindset in place and have the energy to spare for changes, then you can go ahead and change your situation. It might be tough, and I'm sorry, there are no shortcuts. Nobody can do it. This is why nobody can do it for you. This is why you need to use your willpower to get it done. So when changing is a process, and over time you will be different, think different, and act different. It will happen gradually, and after some time you might come across resistance for the changes you make from people around you, employees, team members, family, and friends. They might not like it because they are in the same place you were before you started your journey. They think you are the same and want you to be the same. For example, if you decide to drink less or even have no alcohol to improve your health, your friends around you will insist on you being the same old person with the same old habits, and they have a hard time to understand why you let them down by not drinking like them, as they see it. And that's why it takes mental strength and willpower to make changes in your base. And once you get over the initial hurdles, you see positive changes everywhere. And even your team or employees or family around will start to mirror your positivity and calm, affecting your workplace and your home in a very good way, thanks to you. Now that you have made changes in your life, you get clarity on what is important. It will make your work more efficient. You will experience less stress and overwhelm, and you'll get more creative and feel at ease. And now you can start seeing real results at work. So, just a quick recap of what you just learned. You need to work on the 3 different things to stress less and to be more effective. Your brain, you need to rewiring your brain to decide what life you want to have. Set your mind for it. You have your body. You need to make sure you got the energy you need to make those life-lasting changes with sleeping, eating, and exercise. It's just normal things that normal biology do. All these areas are needed to be taken care of for good energy. And then you have your base, looking at things outside yourself, work, and everything else. So what's the real problem? Why do so many leaders or entrepreneurs succumb under the pressure in the workplace while a few just make it look easy and are even more successful? Because the successful ones have figured out the simple tricks to this. It's not about doing more. It's not about running faster. It's about taking small, consistent steps on optimizing your capacity by taking best care of yourself. And what will happen once you started to doing this? You'll sleep better and therefore you feel more energized. You'll get in control of your time and energy. You will achieve more in a lot less time. You'll learn to love your work again. And you grow your business and reach those targets a lot quicker. And on a more personal level, you grow massively too. You can set personal and business goals and achieve them with ease. You build better relations with your team, co-workers, employees, and of course, family. You see real results, having real insight, not just learning theory. And you'll learn to enjoy your life again. So when you are less stressed and more focused on your goals, then peace of mind, clarity, creativity, productivity comes as a natural part of your workday. And I urge you to discover your leadership with less stress and take the 3 steps and claim back your authority, your self-esteem, your power, and your control. Here's a couple of voices from people that I have had mentoring. And you have this young lady, Miss Wood. She had 4 different projects going on, each of them more or less full-time projects, and she had a hard time getting her life together. You can wonder why. Definitely not caring for herself, and she had a hard time taking in initially that she was overworked. This is how it is. It was a natural state for her. But after just 2 sessions, she sent me this note, and I knew I had reached her heart for change, because she could say, I now am preparing for another life. And I can't wait to see what the future will hold for her up front. And then I have another client, Peter. He said, taking the helicopter ride, I never could have figured out things myself that way, because you need to have someone to help you see the things, because you get blind on what's your life really is. So his work was going so much better after that. So what would your job, your leadership, and your life look like if you could achieve the same as Peter and Miss Wood? What would feel different? How can you get the same result? Because when you want to start to make a difference in your work situation, you often try to work harder, skip breaks, buy gadgets, try quick fixes that are supposed to help you, and maybe they will work for a while, but only for a while. But if you're working on your full potential at that moment, it can never work in the long run. Because we need to raise our potential by making the necessary changes in our lives. And what needs to be changed differs from different persons, and you need to find ways to grow your potential, your specific potential. So today I showed you a step-by-step strategy on how you can create the Karma Workday built on small practical steps. We had the brain, body, and base system. I showed you that you already have all the tools. I'm not talking about anything new. Actually, you know everything that I've told you, but you maybe not thought about it in that order. You can say bye-bye to organized chaos. You get time for reflection and planning, and you get energy to do the changes. And what you need to succeed is awareness where you are now. You need clarity to see your goals, and not somebody else's goals. The world out there is so keen on telling us where we're going. I'm sure you all have experienced that, but look for your own goals. You need to add energy to make the changes, and to make changes sustainable, you need accountability and support. And let me help you take the next small steps towards less stress in the simplest way ever. And I'm not talking about any big grand programs or anything. I'm just talking about my first book, Take Stress from Chaos to Calm, because that is a workbook where you follow a guy for 6 months. It's full of tips and tools for lifelong use. You do the helicopter exercise with this guy, or you do it for yourself, of course, and we look at where you're going, how to take care of your body, and then how to look at your life outside and all the things that you can do. And you have these tools that you can use over and over and over again. I have the download version on my website, and it's only like $10 ordinary. And for this special occasion, I made a coupon code called VIP 2020. If you use that, you get $3 off, and you get it for only $6.97. And you find it on www.stresslesstoday.com, stresslesstoday in one word.com / take stress from chaos to calm, with a dash in between each of the words. And I hope that Nika is putting up the link and the code in the chat so that you can get it there, or wherever they can put it, I don't know. And I hope that this first simple step will help you to build the life that you actually are worth. Because don't complicate it. It's not really complicated, but you have to work persistent. And it's a lifelong work, because biology is with us until the day we die. So happy working. Thank you. I don't know where I am. Do you see me?
Sorry, I've been sitting here talking, and I have myself muted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. There you
Yep,
are.
well, we can hear and see you as well.
I see myself too.
Yeah, good. So everybody, good job. Fantastic. Thank you so much. This was really wonderful. I think, and everybody in the chat was saying like this was so helpful, and they were getting a lot out of it. Definitely agreeing that sleep is going to bed early can be a challenge.
And it's so much more a challenge right now with the corona because our habits are different. And we're not going anywhere, so we just sit there, and then we will binge watch TV, or we eat crap food, and we don't move. We are couch potatoes, all of us.
Yeah,
so it's really challenging.
Yeah, and I would say, I don't know why I'm getting this bad echo. You've got your headphones in, and I've got mine in, and I'm getting this terrible feedback. Anyway, my kids are going to bed. My two boys are like completely out of whack. Like they're nocturnal now, like and it's driving me nuts. And so I'm like, you got to get on a regular schedule. You got to get on a regular schedule. So I'm wondering if this is their natural, biorhythms or whatever.
Well, as I see it, we are biological individuals from 200,000 years ago, that version 1.0. And that version was that if you have to run for your food, you have to fight for it, you have to work for it. And then you get tired and you sleep when you can sleep, and you eat when you can eat. And you do want to eat fat and sugar because that's what the craving is from that time. Mm-hmm. And sitting still is the craving from that time because we were not used to it. So you had to sit still when you could. And today you have all the food in the world and you can sit still all the time. And that's not healthy.
Mm-mm. That's true.
So it's we are doing like the biology tells us to, but that's not what we want, really.
Well, I thought it was really powerful that you started. I mean, you are a medical doctor, and you said that 50% of illness is rooted in stress, at least. And it really does make sense. And I remember in college, I'm taking these headphones off because I can't stand the echo, and then I'll put it back on when I need to hear you. But I remember in college, I read a book called Anatomy of an Illness by Norman Cousins. Are you familiar with that book?
No.
And it was about this man who had this really very rare form of, I think it was a rare form of bone cancer. So this is when I was in college, and when he wrote the book, he had already been in remission or whatever for 20 years or something, maybe not that long, but it was like 100%. Like he had his prognosis was very, very grim. Like nobody apparently survives this disease, but he believed that if negative emotions can cause disease and stress can cause disease, that he was going to do the opposite. And he actively had the technology wasn't like it is now. And he had them roll in this giant TV with a VCR, and he watched his favorite funny, like I think he loved the Three Stooges and whatever. And he just made it a point to laugh every day. And then he also combined it with massive doses, like almost lethal doses of intravenous vitamin C. But anyway, I never forgot that because it does make sense. We always talk about like, well, we don't always talk about it, but stress, we do know that stress causes bad things in our bodies.
Yep. And anxiety is contagious and calm is contagious. So you have to think of what you send out. Because it's good for yourself to be calm or to be happy or smiling, and it's good for everyone that sees you. It's bad for yourself to be anxious, to be angry, to be grumpy, and it's bad for all the others because you give it to them.
Yeah. Well, that makes good sense.
So if you think of what you send out what you want to have back, because that's what you're going to get.
Even if you have to fake it?
Yep.
It may be exactly. That's where you have to start, right?
Yep. There are studies on the smile. There are a lot of studies on the smile being contagious. And just by having your mouth in that sense brings the system to believe up here that you are smiling. And that gives your feel-good hormones. So you're faking it until you make it by yourself. And you can smile to a phone, to your in your phone if you want to see yourself. If you don't have a mirror around, you just put it in self mode. So you can just smile towards yourself and start the process of feeling better.
Yeah,
It's very simple.
It is. I remember reading somewhere, it was like a Buddhist practice or something, that if you practice turning up the corners of your mouth, and it's so subtle that if someone looked at you, they might not even know that you were doing it, but to practice doing it during mundane moments in your day when you're washing the dishes or whatever, to actively very subtly turn up the corners of your face. I mean, not that I do it, but when I do remember this and I do it, it does lift your mood somehow.
It does, because the brain here is very smart, and you can't really fool it. You, in that sense, that if you are grumpy, you are gonna get grumpy. It gets a downward spiral.
Yeah, that
And
really,
I'm gonna give it to you if
the
you come in
contagious
my way.
part is not a small piece. Yeah, I mean, that's important.
So I tell my people or people around me that think of what you're sending out, because that's what you're gonna give to them.
Let me ask you this. It's great. People, Nika, can you put the link again in the chat? Someone's asking for the link. If you scroll up in the chat, there is the link to the book. But Nika, if you could just place it again, that would be great. And then Ben says it's worth checking out The Hidden Messages in Water by Masaru Emoto. Intention Matters. And then Barbara says it's called the Duchenne smile, which is interesting because that's a muscular dystrophy, right?
Yeah, Duchenne is a muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, so I don't get the Duchenne. There must be a story behind the Duchenne smile.
I never heard that.
Yeah, me either. All these smart people here. Okay. So let me ask you this though. The book, awesome. Everybody get the book. I mean, it's $6. Come on, like what a deal. Thank you for this. $6.97.
Yeah.
So around
$7. It's like a cup of coffee and a cookie.
Yeah. Around here, it's like just a cup of coffee.
Okay.
So, okay. But you were talking about your clients. Do you do coaching? I mean, you're a medical doctor. So how does that work?
When I'm in the healthcare clinic, I'm just a doctor. I'm not allowed to do anything outside.
Right.
And when I'm in my business, I take clients as mentoring. I call myself more the mentor than the coach, because I'm not really a coach. I'm a mentor. I help people because I tell them what I see. And the coach doesn't do that.
Do you do this virtually as well, or only in real life?
Of course.
So do you have a link for that, or do you want to not mention that today?
No, if anyone wants to connect, then I'm in the groups, so you can just send me a message.
Do you have a website?
Yes, Ask Dr Annika. AskDrannika.com. And there is this connect form on there if anyone wants to connect with me.
Yes.
Okay. Exactly. And then you just go to the connect form and send a message.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for this. Before we say goodbye, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to remind you that this wonderful Potpourri webinar series is being brought to you by Front Row VIP, frontrowvip.com if you'd like more information. But these, the people who will be presenting in this series are experts on a whole wide range of topics, hence the name Potpourri. I don't think I've said the name Potpourri since 1988. Because remember when Potpourri was like it was such the rage, at least around here.
Yeah, well, it was. I remember that too.
Was it a thing there as well?
Yeah.
It was such the ooh, Potpourri. I'm sorry to block you out, Dr. Annika.
No problem.
But just want to show again, we've got on the 18th, we've got Barbara Trapp talking about Zen Your Business from the Inside Out. And we've got Anne, say her last name, please, Dr. Annika.
Ljungberg.
Yep. Talking about what would it mean for you to clone your business. And then Christina Mosteller, teacher tools entrepreneurs didn't know they could use. And then Anne Reckness is going to be talking about getting more done in less time. And I think that oh yeah, and the Belinda Wasser is going to be talking about an innovative approach to pricing your services, and then Debbie. And Debbie's name is escaping me. She's not on here, but she is going to be talking about podcasting, I think. So that's really exciting. And then we're going to put the link here for you to join and sign up for the whole series. So you'll get an email reminding you before we go live for that. So thank you so much, Dr. Annika. Really, really appreciate this. And all of you who are in the big front row group, Annika is also a member of that group. So you can just comment under here and make sure and tag her if you have any follow-up questions, if you're watching the replay. And just thank you so much. You really did a wonderful job. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I can say to the listeners in the big group that it's worth coming into the small group.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Annika. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.